want to wait. So as we see yesterday, variable concept, variable is used to store the data. So in the memory or in any entity, you can use variable concept. Basically, variable just stores a single value. That's a variable. But what kind of data? It can be any type of data. It's a primitive data or a reference type of data, object data, memory address. It can be any kind of data, string data. So all these are different types you can store in the variable. Okay, so what are the different variable types we have in Java? So we have three types of variables: local variables, instance variables, static variables. So local variable, instance variable, and static variables. So what is meant by a local variable? Local variable means how can you identify these type of variables? Local, static, non-static variables, how can you identify them? So if you declare any variable inside the method body or block body, then those variables are called local variables. So where you can declare inside the method body or block body. If you declare, declaration, right? So data type, variable name. So semicolon or data type, variable name equal to value, semicolon. So one is a declaration, another one is declaring and assigning a value. Both are valid. If you do that declaration and declaring and assigning a value inside the method body or block body, then such kind of variables are called local variables. So local variables are accessible within that method body only. You cannot access outside that block. So you cannot use outside that block. So it's in the same block only you can use, same method only you can use. If you try to use that local variable in another method, it will throw compile time error. So one method local variable you cannot use in another method. If you want to use one variable in multiple methods, you should not declare as a local variable. So you can declare outside the method and below the class. That we are going to discuss this so variables concept. Okay. So where the local variables will store memory. So in the stack memory, they will store. We have in the JVM method area, heap area, stack area, PC register, native method stack, right? So that stack memory, these local variables will store. So in the stack memory, local variables, temporary values, and method calls will store in the stack area. So that's why these variables, local variables, also called stack variables. So one is where is the declaration, first pointer. So first point is where you can declare. And second point, where you can access. And third point, which memory they will allocate. And once your method execution is over, these local variables will be destroyed from the memory. That means memory will clean up them. So local variables, you must assign a value. At least a default value should be assigned. It won't assign, you need to assign a value. Default value never assigned. You need to assign a value for that. That's the local variable means. Local variable syntax is data type, variable name, assignment operator, value equal to semicolon. So you can apply a final keyword for the local variable. If you apply final keyword, I told you already, so that value cannot be modified or changed. It will be constant. So which modifier keyword can be used on the local variable is only one keyword, that is final keyword. No other keywords will be applied. Private, protected, public, you cannot apply for the local variables. Local variables always syntax starts with the data type only, but that must be inside the method body. So this is the final variable syntax, final local variable syntax, final data type, variable name equal to value. So this, and the difference between this one is this variable value you can update in the next line. But this variable value, once you initialize, once you assign to this variable, this value cannot be changed in the next line. If you try to modify, if you try to assign a new value, then it will throw compile time error. Clear? On the normal variable and final variable. Okay. So here is the example. So local variable demo. M1 method inside, see a method inside, I'm declaring a local variable, int x equal to 10, x is a local variable. So long L equal to 20. See all declaration and assigning a value, but I'm using here, I'm calling this x, local variable I'm calling here. Declaration and assigning a value, and I'm using that L greater than x. L greater than x. So boolean b equal to L greater than x. So that's the, so method one, method inside you can declare, but this one LX cannot be used inside the another method, M2 method. Okay, so here you cannot use. And private void M2, float f equal to 5.6f. Boolean b1 equal to false. Double D equal to f plus 35.5. So this total can be stored here. This is another local variable because you're just declaring here again and assigning this value. So that's why these are all local variables, because you declared inside the method body. Any questions on this local variable?
Fine, Ramesh.
Yeah. Okay. Next. So let's see now. Who is this iPhone? Who just joined with iPhone? Can you give a name? Nobody responding? Who is this iPhone?
Sir, it's me, sir. Vijaya.
Okay. You have to talk, otherwise then I'm about to block you. Always
No,
I'm
sir.
telling you, if you're not talking, I'll know. So at least inform me or join with the name, so that
Yeah,
it
I
will be.
signed with my name only, sir. Vijaya signed for me.
No, something is coming. iPhone, one more iPhone is there.
It must be me, Ramesh.
Raja.
It's Raja. Yes. I will
Yeah, I
type
have
my
to give a
name.
name, otherwise I'll block.
Yeah.
I won't allow unknown persons. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, join with the proper name.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so instance variable are non-static, but once I block and you cannot join never. It won't allow you. Completely it will stop, so don't make that mistakes.
Sir, is my name is coming, sir?
Yeah, your name is Vijay, name is there, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. If you make mistake without unknown unanimous name, so I cannot no give guarantee. If I block you, you cannot join again that meeting. So I'm just giving a heads up. So don't do like that. Join with a proper name, so that you can avoid all this blocking, all those things. Okay. So next one is instance variable or non-static variable. So what is mean by instance variable non-static? So the meaning itself is telling non-static. If you declare any variable outside the method and inside a class without a static keyword, then that variable is called instance variable. This is, you can observe here this statement is very, very clear. Where to declare instance variable, it is telling this statement. If you have in mind, you can declare automatically. You don't need to worry about that. Declaration where you can do instance variable means, see, it is telling outside the method body and inside a class without a static keyword. See, these three words, these three sentences clearly defining where to declare instance variable. So always you have to look for instance variables outside the methods, below the class, without a static keyword. These three conditions should met. Then only you can say that's a instance variable. Declaration usage, you can use the variables inside any method. First you have to see where that variable is declared. Declaration means I'm telling again, data type must be there. Then variable name. Then assignment operator value, if we are giving a value. So that is the instance variable or non-static variable means. Okay. You know where you can declare. Now, where you can access. You declared, fine. Where you can access that instance variables. In non-static methods only. Instance variables directly you can access in non-static methods, not in static methods. Static methods you cannot access directly. But there is a process, a different process. But directly you cannot access. And how can you access instance variable in static methods? By creating object for the class.
Okay.
Object reference dot non-static variable. That's the process. But directly you can access. This meaning is directly you cannot access. Directly you cannot use inside the static methods this non-static variable.
Ramesh,
Yeah.
within a non-static method and under the same class, right, Ramesh?
Even other classes also you can call, but with object.
Yeah. So, other classes, non-static methods.
Another class is non-static and also static if you create object.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
If you create object anywhere, you can access again.
Okay.
But same class, only non-static methods directly.
Okay. Yeah.
If you create object, even static methods also you can access.
Access.
Right? So that's the declaration part and accessibility scope. So instance variables, by default, they are going to have a default values. JVM will allocate for them default values. For example, if your variable data type is primitive data type. So numbers means 0 is the default value. Boolean means false default value. and float means 0.0. Double or float at 0.0. Any integer, so it's a 0. Strings, it's a null. Null is the default value. Object, null. So these are the default values and JVM allocates for them. Even if you don't assign, the default values will be assigned by JVM. So instance variable allocate memory. Let me show you that. We'll go to that diagram. See here, the memory areas. In this heap area, the non-static methods, so non-static variables will store. In this stack area, the local variables will store. So that's these memory areas. That's why very important. I'm again one more time repeating. When this here the memory allocates for this heap area. Only runtime. Runtime only the data will allocate memory here. So when you declare a non-static variable, memory won't allocate. No. If you create an object for the class, then only memory allocates in the heap area for the non-static variables and non-static methods. Repeating again. When the memory allocates for the non-static variables and non-static methods, at runtime, when you create object for the class. If you are not creating object, memory won't allocate in the heap area for the non-static variables and non-static methods. So memory allocates for the non-static variables and non-static methods at runtime in the heap memory only when you create object for the class. Clear this point? Silence. What happened? Are you clear or no? So instance variables are allocated memory on the heap. So these are also called instance variables, instantly memory allocates, non-static variables. So they allocate memory in the heap area. For every object, a separate copy of instance variables will be created in the memory. For example, you created for one class 2 objects. For 2 objects, same variables will go and copy in each object. A separate copy. A separate copy of the instance variable will be created in the memory. They will allocate memory only at runtime. So these are also called object level variables. So non-static variable syntax is access modifier, data type, variable name equal to value. So what are the access modifiers, Rajeshwari?
Public, private, protected, and default.
What are
Default
the
is
data types?
primitive and non-primitive.
Hmm.
Integer, byte, short, int, long, double, boolean, character, char.
Char only.
Char.
But so float is missing. Float also. Okay. So non-primitive data types also. What are the non-primitive data types?
String,
Mm-hmm.
array,
Array,
vector,
array, enum,
int,
class,
class.
interface. Any class also one data type.
Okay.
Any interface also one data type. They are reference types. There are non-primitive, also called reference types. So those are all data types. Not only data type means only primitive. Don't think it's only primitive. Non-primitive also.
Okay.
So variable name equal to value. Value can be object. Value can be string value, array, anything. So that's a non-static variable syntax. So non-static final variable syntax, access modifier, final, data type, variable name equal to value semicolon. So protected final string S4 equal to Java. So that's this. How you can declare a final variables. Final keyword can be applied on all the variables. So the difference is, if you declare final, that variable value cannot be modified in the next lines. Once you assign, that's a final. And if you don't assign a final keyword, then the value you can modify in the next lines or somewhere else. You can update the value with a one value to other value, you can update same variable. So that's the final without final. So here you can see class. See, what is the definition of a non-static variable? Syntax definition. Where the declaration of non-static variables?
Set the method.
Sorry? Non-static variables, so declaration
Static
part
blocks.
where?
Static blocks.
Yeah. Just now I told non-static variable syntax location declaration part where I told
Outside the method.
outside the methods below the class
Below the class. Okay.
without static keyword. Static keyword should not be present in that line. Then that is called non-static. See that class below, above the methods, access modifier, data type, variable name equal to value. See below the class, outside the methods, no static keyword here. So same access modifier means I'm using public. Data type is int, a equal to 20, b equal to 30. So now a and b are the instance variables or non-static variables. Now here also float x equal to 4.5. String str equal to Java. Now x and str, what type of variables? I want to see how many will tell correctly this one. What type of variable is that?
Object.
Object.
String variable.
Type of variables, madam. Variables means only 3 types. First, you should know that. Variable types are only 3. Local variables, non-static variables, and static variables. But you are confusing with data types. Data types are different. Variable types are different. Are you clear first on this?
Yeah, Ramesh.
Yeah, both are different. Now, this, what is the type of variable? This one, what is the x type of variable? str, what type of variable is this? Okay, if I ask you what data type, you can tell string. X, what data type, you can tell float. But I'm asking what type of variable. Please be careful on the questions, okay? What type of variable is this?
Local variables.
Instance variable.
Okay, one answer. One answer came local variable, one answer came instance variable. What about others?
And it's a non-static also because no static keyword.
Okay. So how many so opt for local and how many opt for non-static? Hmm?
Non-static variable.
Non-static variable. It is a non-static variable, and so all the definitions you should remember. That's why you're making mistakes, right? So somebody told local variable. How it is local variable? Is it in the method body inside?
No.
It's not in method body, right? That is the rule. Condition should met. If you want to say that local variable, it should be inside the method body. But this is inside the class only. Inside the class means it is following here. That means access modifier, what is here? What is the access modifier here?
Default.
Default.
WhatsApp audio.
Default. So no modifier, right? That's a default. Then data type they used. Then variable name X. This one, so many people, 99.99% confused. Many people. Everybody says local variable. Why? That means they are not listening properly local variable definition. I told you very clearly, or at least you are not listening non-static variable syntax definition proper. Both you are missing. So, okay, you missed local variable, fine. Again, you are missing a non-static variable syntax also. I told you very clearly, it's inside the class, outside the methods. If you declare that is a non-static variable, at least you should remember that also, right? And you are missing this one and that one. Two options you are missing completely. That means concentration is a little bit, you have to improve. So these are non-static variables. But access modifier is default. Okay. Now method public void M3. So data type variable name equal to value or expression. Int sum equal to a plus b. See now can you tell me now sum is a what type of variable?
Local variable.
Local variable because it is inside the method body. I'm declaring and assigning a value. A plus b value I'm assigning to sum. That's why sum is a local variable. A and B, where we declared A and B?
In the class level.
In the class level. That's why it is a non-static variable. A and B. So this is the non-static variables you can use in non-static method only. This is the non-static method. You can use in non-static methods only. Another one, protected void M4. See, float F1 equal to 3.5 F plus A plus B. See, I can use any non-static method A one time if you declare A and B non-static. So you can use n number of methods, same variable. So you don't need to declare every time. One time declaration, and you can use the same variable name in multiple non-static methods. That's the advantage. See, is this correct? 5 multiplied by A I did. Is this correct? This is the static method. Static method inside what I'm doing? I'm calling the what type of variable I'm calling?
Non-static variable.
Non-static variable. It's not acceptable. Why it's not acceptable? So directly non-static variable cannot be used inside the static method. All these points you need to remember. Then only your coding will come nicely. So these points you note down, listen n number of times, then it will be easy for you. Repeat that multiple times, that syntax where you can declare, where you can access. If you know this, it's going to be very easy. Otherwise, it's difficult. Okay. So now let's move on to static variables. If you declare a variable as a static, then that is a static variable. But where is the location? Below the class, above the method, with the static keyword, then that is a static variable syntax. So where you can access anywhere because it's a common, right? Common to all. You can access the static variable in static method, non-static method directly in the same class. Directly you can access. So because it's a common property. Static means a common property. So where this memory allocates, the memory allocates in the method area. So all the static data will go and store in the method area, and one time only memory allocates. That's the, so static variables have to be declared at a class level and cannot be declared at the method level. So these are allocate memory in the method area. They will get memory only one time. While class loading time, the memory allocates for these static variables, and that will be reused n number of times. And you can reuse this so anywhere in the static method as well as non-static methods you can use directly. So static variable syntax is access modifier, start, data type, variable name equal to value. Static final variable syntax is access modifier, final, static, data type, variable name equal to value. So generally, final variable name you can write in cap letters. More than one word is there, just join with a underscore. Like this. Always. So you have to write a cap letters if you use a final keyword that represents it's a constant. So public final static int min words equal to, so this one. So that's a static variable syntax. And so these are all some of the, this is the non-static variable, and these are the static variables x, y, z. So this is the another static variable I'm using. So this static variable in the static method, int a is a local variable 60. And see this static variable, I am assigning a plus x plus y plus z. Local variable I declared, and static variable, static variable, static variable. All sum I did and assign that output to static variable. This static variable I assigned. So this assignment is here. It is happening in the method inside, but declaration happened outside the method. So with a static keyword. That's why add is a static variable. Now, see subtract method. So this is the non-static method. See, even non-static method inside also you can use x plus y minus f2. F2 is a non-static variable. X and y are the static variables, and d is a local variable. So you can use the static variables in static method as well as non-static method. So, but declaration again one time only. See, one time declaration. But you can use in any method directly in the same class. So that is the static variables, non-static variables, and local variables. So static variables and non-static variables, the difference is, so static variables can access them using class names. Non-static variables can be accessed using object. So static variable can access them with the static methods as well as non-static methods. You can use static variables inside the static method and non-static method also. Non-static variable can be accessed only in non-static methods. So static variable get allocated memory only once while loading the class. Non-static variables memory allocation happens during object creation only at runtime. So static variables are shared by all objects or instance of a class, but non-static variable is unique queue. If you want to share, it's not possible with the non-static variables because that's a represent the uniqueness. Each object has its own copy of non-static variables. Static variables have a global scope, and non-static variables have a local scope. Only that non-static methods only you can use. So that's all about so static, non-static variable difference. That's another important. So more information if you want on static, I have given some more extra value. You can see that. See public static final double 5 value. public static final double E. See, E is a capital letter because the final keyword I used. So here private static int next ID 1. Private int ID is a non-static variable, non-static variable. So you can use this constructor, but I will tell you all this, okay? So that's all about static, non-static and final variables. So final variable also you can assign, but you cannot change it. So where you can use final keyword can be used on the class also, method also, and variable. So that means you can create a final class, final method, and final variable. So final variable value cannot be changed. So that's all about this, and go through this. We'll go through these points once we join back. These are some of the interview questions also. There are a few interview questions here. We'll go through that. So can you access static variables under non-static methods? What is the answer? Can you access static
Yes.
variables
Yes,
under
we can.
non-static methods? Yes, we can access. Can you access non-static variables under static method?
No.
No.
No.